Om Sahna Vavatu Sahnau Bhunaktu Sah Vidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to all. So we saw in this fifth canto, the second chapter, about Agnidra and how Agnidra, he wanted to enter into Pitraloka, so he worshipped Brahmaji for a son at Mount Mandar. And there Brahmaji sends Purvachiti. She wanders about in this beautiful garden, and this Agnidra is very captivated by her beauty. And he asks her to join in the austerities and promises her, I will never leave you. He expertly charms her, and then they live enjoying for 1,000 years. Their 9 children, they grow up. And Purvachiti goes back to Brahmaji. These 9 children inherit 9 varshas of Jambudvipa. And Agnidra also, thinking of Purvachiti only, even after so many years of being with her, he's still fascinated and attached to her. So he joins Purvachiti in the Pitraloka. The 9 sons, they marry the 9 daughters of Meru. So that's why we had seen the second chapter. Now, the third chapter starts here, and we find that the 9 daughters of Meru, they are Merudevi, Pratirupa, Ugradamshri, Lata, Ramya, Shyama, Nari, Bhadra, Devaviti. They marry these 9 sons of Agnidra. So the eldest son of Agnidra is Nabhi. So Nabhi has married Merudevi. So when Nabhi marries Merudevi, they did not have a child, and so they worship Bhagwan Vishnu. And they do Yagna. Bhagwan Vishnu is supposed to be the presiding deity of the rituals as far as Yagnas are concerned. Yagno vai Vishnu, it is said. So, Nabhi and Merudevi, both of them, they worship Bhagwan Vishnu. And it is said here that when a ritual is done, these few things one has to be very careful about, and they are very important for the ritual to happen properly and to then for the ritual to give the result. So what are they? So first is Dravya. What are the things that are used in the rituals? The samagris, the offerings, the ghee, various, the havis, the sticks, everything, whatever is offered. So that is Dravya, even Naivedya, everything, any samagri that is used in the Havan. Then Desha, which place it is done, Kala, what time it is being organized. Then Mantra, how the mantras are chanted in the proper intonations, with appropriate remembrance of that rishi, of the devata, of the chandas, all those things. Then the ritvik, who is the priest, how pure is the mind of the priest, how the person has been living in a dharmic way, how they conduct themselves. So ritvik. Then dakshina, the priest has to be given the dakshina, because in the earlier days they never used to have source of income. They don't charge this much money for this much ritual. The arrangements are done by the yajman. The ritvik comes, does the puja, does the havan, whatever is the ritual, and yatha shakti, whatever dakshina the yajman gives, it may be dakshina in through wealth or through many other things also, whatever are the rice and the clothes and the cow and anything like that. But dakshina has to be given. A ritual where dakshina is not given to the priest will not fructify properly. So dakshina. Then vidhana, how the procedure is given, that procedure one has to follow. We take it for granted, any of these, and then we procedure to definitely how short we can do it and how minimal we can do. We think like that. And then we want result which is full. So here it is said that, all these, they are fully, they were properly done by Nabhi and Merudevi. Of course, there are priests who are helping them to do all this, but they did without any compromise in all this. They did it very nicely. Yet, it is not that these will make Bhagwan manifest. Bhagwan manifests out of his will. Oh, so then do we need to follow all these 9 things or not? Not 9, 7 things. See, here only a few are given, there are many more. Just the 7, when they are done properly, the result will be whatever result one seeks: progeny, prosperity, health, darshan of Bhagwan, so many things, whichever one seeks, one will get. But in that, Bhagwan's darshan does not come because of the ritual. Bhagwan's darshan comes by his will. So that's why he says here, it says in Bhagavatam here that while Nabhi reverentially engaged in worshipping him with a pure, devout heart, and the rites known by the name of Pravargya were proceeding, Bhagwan's heart is seized with tremendous longing to accomplish the object of his servant. Bhagwan's compassion it is. So, because of his affection for his devotees, and so he revealed himself before him. So Bhagwan manifested. Bhagavata Vatsalyataya. It is out of his Vatsalya Bhav. Vatsalya Bhav is the Bhav that the cow has towards its calf. Extending it, mother has towards the child. So that way. So he appeared, and they worshipped him also with great faith, devotion. And so Bhagwan's form is then described. That how is the form? So Bhagwan manifested in the Chaturbhuj Roop. His whole form is very pleasing to the eyes, to the mind. And he has this yellow Pitambar, and then Shri Vatsa mark, then Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Vanamala, Kaustubha, Kundala, all this, the mukut, then the ornaments on his hand, on his waist, the armlets, the ankle bells, all these. Now Bhagwan manifests in a grand way. That's the indication here, because he is manifesting in front of Nabhi, who is a Raja. And anyway, Bhagwan likes, it is said Vishnu Bhagwan likes Alankar. Alankara Priya Vishnu. So he came fully decked in all this grand jewelry and all that. And so here it is said that they received, welcomed him, they washed his hands, etc. And the analogy given here in Bhagavatam is that receiving him with the same high regard as penniless people would receive a rich treasure. Meaning he may be the king and he may be a great king on the earth, but Bhagavan is the Lord of the whole universe, and he is manifested like that with in his full alankar, with all the alankars he has manifested. So now the priests, they offer first the prayers. So they say that please accept our respects, which we offer repeatedly to you, because no matter how much we sing the glory, it will not suffice. Bhagavan is infinite. How much can his glory justify? How much we praise will never be able to match his glory. So they say that you are the most worshipful Lord, worshipable Lord, and you are transcendental. Your name, your form, qualities, they all are transcendental and beyond ordinary conception. And those those jivas who are under the play of the three gunas, the Maya, for them it is incomprehensible because Bhagavan is gunatita. So they say this, that what man whose mind is engrossed in the phenomenal world and who is powerless can hope to determine your essential character. Then they say that maximum what a person can do is to recount all the glorious virtues that you have. And what will that do? That will wipe away the sins, that will purify the mind, and one can then partially understand the supreme glory of Bhagavan. After purifying the mind, one can partially understand. If one does not purify the mind at all, then there's no hope. So does it mean Bhagavan is very difficult to attain and he is gunatita, so three gunas, how many people can go beyond three gunas? Very difficult like that. He says, no, with simple heart, pure love and devotion, one can worship. He says, you are propitiated in every way through worship offered, even with prayers lovingly uttered, in faltering voice, with just some water, with some, just some leaves, or even tulsi leaf, or sprouts of the grass, newly grown grass. So all this is written in prose. If you see, it's all given there. See that. And the prose, if you read here, sometimes one word, if you see this, there are many words, but they have done sandhi here. So it looks as though there's one line, the three lines is as though one word. Dara, Vara, Vana, Ruha, Vanamala, Churya, Mrita, Mani, Gadadhibihi, Upalakshitam, like that it goes on. Long line it will be. Here, that was the description of Bhagavan manifesting with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma and all that. Here it is said, Salila, Parijana, Anuraga, Virachita, Shabala, Samshabda, Salila, Sita, Kisalaya, Tulasika, Durvankurairapi, Sambhritaya, Saparyaya, Kila, Parama Paritushyasi. Parama Paritushyasi, you are supreme, you get pleased even by simple things like that. So it's not difficult to please Bhagavan, though he is Gunatita, he loves his devotees, and even a little effort the devotees do, Bhagavan is so gracious, kind, compassionate. So the priests, they offered this, and they are also regretful now. Why? Because the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Lord, has come, and for what have they called? They have called Bhagavan for a progeny, for a child. So they say that Bhagavan does not need any elaborate arrangements because all the life's goals are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly. They are increasing, going on increasing in Bhagavan. So any amount of worship we are offering does not add to anything to Bhagavan. But we need Bhagavan's blessings because we have all four. Now, Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha, we need. Bhagavan does not need. And these four, they are present in Bhagavan in full measure. That's why it's called Bhagavan. In us, we need. And in that, what will we seek? Some devotees seek Artha, some devotees Kama, some Moksha, very few seek Moksha. Majority seek Artha, Kama. Then few of them will seek Dharma. Rare number of people, rarely few, will seek Moksha. Now, why did Bhagavan appear? Bhagavan appeared out of his causeless mercy, out of his infinite compassion. Meaning, Bhagavan is not a product of this yajna. Then why did yajna happen? That is to invoke Bhagavan and to send our request and to worship the Lord through this. But Bhagavan comes out of his will. So he says here that Prakarsha Karunaya, so you have appeared here out of your abundant grace and compassion to fulfill the wishes and the desire of the devotees. And also finally to give liberation. Bhagavan is helping the jiva even through the material prosperity, etc. Finally, one will come to realize its futility, its temporary nature, and one will seek the Lord only, and finally the jiva will get mukti only. So he says here that you have appeared here to serve our interest and also give us liberation in the form of realization of your glories. But we are we are foolish. So the word used here is Bala Ishanam. Bala is child. Like a small child desires, some petty, small little toys. The joy of the child is in the toys. But the mind of the child wants that. There may be greater things, but the child is not bothered about that. Child wants what it loves. So here he says that, but we are like that. Avidusham, we don't know. The supreme goal of life is realization, is knowing the oneness with the Lord, all that. Sorry. So we don't know that. We are small children. What we have called you here for? Yeah, they have called for progeny. So here he says that we have not worshipped you also properly. We have very small little desire. And so he says here that the priests, they are saying this. You are the best of all benefactors. You are most worshipable of all. Your appearance as the object of our vision in this sacrifice was the most valuable benediction. And they also point out the rarity of Bhagavan's darshan. That is not easy to get darshan of Bhagavan, and Bhagavan has come out of his will, out of compassion. He does not think that, oh, these people want only some progeny. For that, why have they called me? They should have worshipped some other devatas and they would have easily got it. No, Bhagavan comes. So here he says that the rishis, they say, the priests, they say that what are the things that are so rare, the qualities. So it says here, your qualities produce bliss, parama mangala ayana, and they are recited repeatedly by great sages. Who are these sages? These sages have burnt by the fire of knowledge and detachment. They have burned their attachments. They have attained your quality, bhavat svabhavanam, and they are atma ramaha. So they revel in the bliss of the self. Even for such devotees who have burned their attachments, who revel in the self, and who are, one, who have the same qualities as Bhagavan, even for them the darshan of Bhagavan is rare. So he says here that it is your compassion that you have manifested. We don't even have any of these qualities, but you have still manifested here. So you please help us to remember you and your names, your attributes, your activities, so that they will continue to destroy our sins. Because at the time of death, we may not be able to remember you. Why? Because we are still attached to the body. So he says, why stumbling, suffering hunger, falling down, yawning, suffering calamity, at those times, where will we remember? So only your blessing will help us to remember you at all times. Then finally, they say that this great King Nabhi, he desires a son like you. All this is being said by the priests only. They are speaking on behalf of the Yajman to Bhagavan. That this great King Nabhi desires a son like you and is worshipping you. Although you can give all benedictions like heaven or liberation, he is like a poor man approaching a wealthy man for little husk. He is like that. So they say that it is a little bit of husk that somebody wants, asking a wealthy person. So it's like that. One is asking that a child be born, and not an ordinary child, like you, a son like you. So now, that's what he says here. Deva Devarhasi Samyena Sarvan Prativodhum Avidusham. So we don't have that much intelligence, but that's what we have asked for. The prayer is for this, that this great king, he wants you to be born as the son. Bhagavan Animishar Shabho Varshadhara Bhivadita Bhivandita Charanaha Sadayam Idam Aha. So then they spoke these words, saying that you please be born. They want as a son. They want a child like you, not as a son. They want a child like you. Now what does Bhagavan say? Bhagavan, he says that with great compassion, Bhagavan speaks these words. He says that you have prayed for King Nabhi to have a son like me, but there is nobody like me. So I only have to come as the son. He says, I am the supreme person without a second. And because you all are qualified Brahmanas, so two reasons he gives. One is that there is nobody apart from me, like me, who is equal to infinity. There are not two infinities, only one. So that is one reason. Second reason, he says that Brahmanas have uttered these words. That has to be kept up because Brahmanosya Mukhamasit. That is Purusha Suktam line. That comes here also. In this, but in prose it comes. Kaivalyad athapi brahmavado na mrisha bhavitumarhati mamaiva hi mukham yad dvija deva kulam. Mamaiva hi mukham yad. Brahmanas are my mouth. Meaning whatever is uttered by the Brahmanas will manifest. Because Bhagwan's speech will not go for vain. And Bhagwan holds Brahmanas in such high regard. Brahmanas also have to live in that purity, and that is why Bhagwan holds them in high regard. If somebody says, I am a Brahmana because I am born in a Brahmana family, that is not what our culture says. Brahmana qualities must be there. Then wherever that person is born, that person is Brahmana. So he says, Brahmanas have asked for this boon for the King Nabhi, and there is nobody like me. And so, as a result, what will happen? He said, I will personally appear in one amsha. Tata Agnidreya Agnidriyemsha Amsha it is. Amsha Kalaya Avatarishyami Atmatulyam Anupa Labhamanaha. Amsha, one amsha of mine will manifest. This is called Amsha Avatar. So various avatars are there of Bhagwan. In that all these are Amsha Avatar. There is Avesh Avatar, Leela Avatar, Nitya Avatar, many different types of avatars are there. In that Amsha Avatar will be this. One portion of Bhagwan will manifest. Where in the Kula of Agnidhra. Agnidhriye Amsha. In the Vamsha of this Agnidhra, I will be born. Through whom? Through Nabhi and Merudevi. Now, having said this, Bhagwan explained all this. So Shukdev ji goes on to conclude this chapter. He says that the Lord disappeared. Now propitiated by the great seers at that very sacrifice, the Lord descended as the sun, as the Amsha avatar, to King Nabhi in the gynecium of King Nabhi in the divine form, consisting of sattva unmixed with rajas and tamas. So Vishuddha sattva. Unmixed meaning it will be there, but negligible quantity. The purpose is to say that Bhagwan is fully aware of his birth and his divinity. That I am the unborn absolute truth. I am not conditioned by the birth, even though there is a body. We are not like that. We condition ourselves with the body and we forget our true nature. So Bhagwan is full because that is a quality of tamas and attachment is rajas. Sattva is very less. So sattva is a quality of knowledge. Bhagwan is predominantly sattva in this, as it is said. And so he is not ignorant. Anyway, is Jnana Swarup only. So the Lord is born. And what is the purpose? See, the purpose is with a view to obliging the monarch, that is one. And also with the intent to teach the world by personal example the sacred vows observed by the sages that have no covering on their body except the atmosphere. Because he is going to live like that, Rshabhdev. He will rule as a great king also, set an example for the society. Then he will leave, renounce, and he will live as a recluse, Digambara. So that's what is said here. By his personal example, he will show this. Lead an ascetic life and are pledged to perpetual celibacy. So that's the word given here is Merudevyam Dharman Darshayitu Kamaha, to show how to live in a dharmic way. Vatarashananam, Shramanam, Rishinam, Urdhva Manthinam. Urdhva Manthi. Manthana is contemplation. Urdhva Manthana meaning contemplating on the Supreme, the vital fluids of the body also will turn upwards. The energies will go upwards. They will not go downwards. Urdhva Retas also it is called. Shuklaya Tanuvava Tatara. Bhagavan took avatar. He took a form. Tanu is body. So he took the divine form. So this is Rshabhdevji's avatar. Now, Agnidra to Nabhi, Nabhi to Rshabhdev now. So now we are entering the fourth chapter. Third chapter got concluded with Rshabhdevji's avatar. Now when he is born, divine marks are seen on his body. So here you see the words given here. Ataha, athaha, tamutpatyav vabhivyajyamana bhagavallakshanam samyopa shama vairagya aishwaryam maha vibhuti bhihi anudina medhamanan ubhavam prakritayah praja brahmana devataha cha avanita avanitala samavanaya titaram jagridhu. So what are the divine marks? The divine marks will be on the sole of the feet of the child. There will be Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Many of these symbols will be there. And Bhagavan has so many qualities. All what I read now are all the qualities of Bhagavan. What are those qualities? They are viewing everybody as alike, main bhav of samanta. Then control of the senses and the mind. So Shama and Dama. Then deep level of Vairagya, so aversion to the pleasure of sense, universal domination, perfection in everything, and all these good qualities which are there, equal vision, power, detachment, sense control, all these, all the ministers and Praja and everybody wanted him to rule the kingdom. It's very interesting. Even if you remember in earlier canto, fourth canto, when we were saying Dhruva, about Dhruva, there Uttanapada Raja, he sees that, when Dhruva is returned, and after having Darshana Bhagavan, Dhruva returns, and then he is welcomed by the whole Praja, and there's a grand procession which is done, and then he is sitting on the elephant, and he gets his brother Uttam also with him. And the king sees that over a period of time, everybody loves this Dhruva very much. So what he does, he finally crowns Dhruva as the king, even without finishing his marriage, etc. He is very happy. He got Vairagya, Uttanapada got Vairagya, so he crowned him as the prince and he went, as the king, and he left and he went. Over a period of time, Dhruva also will do that. 36,000 years he rules. Then he also hands over, goes away to Badrinath. Same thing you see here. Nabhi will name Rshabhdev as the king. Seeing his good qualities, a very strong, well-built body, and all this, majesty, strength, splendor, glory, dominating influence and energy, the father gave him the name Rshabha. Rshabha means foremost. You see in the Gita, so many times it comes, Bharata Rshabha. So the foremost amongst the dynasty of those who are in the Bharat Vamsha. So like that, he says here that he gave the name Rshabha because he saw all these qualities. Now it is said that this Indra becomes envious of Rshabhdev, and Indra does not reign in this Bharat Varsha. So now we have to remember this, that earlier this Bharat Varsha was called Ajanabha Varsha. That is the name, because Nabhi Raja was ruling. So Ajanabha Varsha was the name of Bharat Varsha before. Then after Rshabhdev ji's son Bharat, then this country is named Bharat. That will come now. How interesting, no? Our G20 summit, when it happened, our Prime Minister had in front of him, the board said Bharat, not India. The invite that went from the President for the dinner to all the ministers and prime ministers and all the presidents of different countries, that said President of Bharat. So the debate going on. The country is going to be named Bharat. Why we should do this, that? This country has got so many different names before. And right now also the word Bharat is there in the constitution. It's not that it is not there. India, that is Bharat. That line is actually twisted. It should be Bharat, that is India, not India, that is Bharat, but it is there. So if something is being done to bring it back to what it was original, what is wrong in that? So here, this Indra became very, see it is written here, no, Ajanabham. If you read this paragraph number 4 in this 4th discourse, so very clearly it is written, Bhagavan Rshabhdevo Yogeshwaraha Prahasyatma Yoga Mayaya Swavarsha Ajanabham. Swavarsha Ajanabham, meaning his kingdom is called Ajanabha. Nama Abhyavarshat. In this land called Ajanabha Varsha, he, with the power of Maya, he made the rains happen. Indra did not give rains because he got jealous, because he thinks that now this Rshabhdev, he will become so glorious and great. He already has such good qualities. And Indra feels threatened that maybe he will even occupy my position, so I will not reign here at all. So, right in the beginning, with the power of his Maya, Rshabhdev ji, he shows that it does not matter. Indra, if he doesn't reign, how does it matter? If, as though this part of this country where he is ruling, as though that will not get any other source of water. He says, I will reign with the power of Maya. So he does this. Now what happens? This Nabhi Raja, he is blessed by this worthy son. He is very overwhelmed with a transport of excessive joy and felt supremely happy. And he has forgotten that Bhagavan has come here in this Amsha avatar. So what does he do? He plays with the child, he calls him my child, and addressing him in a faltering voice as my child, my darling. His mind was deluded by divine Maya, where he forgets that this is not an ordinary child, he is Bhagavan himself. Then over a period of time, what happens? Rshabhdev is very popular with all the Praja, ministers, citizens. So Nabhi made him the king, installed him on the throne. For what? For preservation of dharma that was given to him by these Brahmanas. So whatever knowledge Brahmanas have given, through that in dharmic way he has ruled. Now that has to be carried forward, it has to be preserved properly. And here is a deserving person, so he has made him the king. Now, so Rshabhdev becomes a king. Now, what does he do? Having made him the king, see, these are our ancestors who gave the position, who didn't cling to position till death. One does one's duty, then you give it, pass on, move on to life. Well, life has the goal of life, as was said in the earlier chapter, is moksha, is to realize the truth. How much one will run behind power and position and name and fame, and if somebody is more deserving and somebody is, you have done your duty, hand it over and move on. Be happy that somebody is deserving there and that person can take charge and even, expand further. Why should one feel any lesser? Because that's not the objective. Anyway, it is perishable. The objective is to realize the imperishable. So, this, our ancestors, if we just look at our past and how they have lived, so many things we will learn. Otherwise, today one is clinging. At what age one is still clinging to power? It's a delusion. Bhagwan's Maya it is. One does not think of Bhagwan also and think of the perishable nature of this samsara. Body is going to die, but still one is clinging to power, position, name, fame. And that power sometimes is not even big power, it is some small little power, one little house, one family, some small business, and one is clinging on to that. What is one missing out? Realizing the infinite. In front of infinite, whether it is a massive empire, a huge whatever, property, wealth, all that, or even a little bit one has, it is all finite only. So great kings in the past have just left big empires or even their own houses with just a one family they have had, and they are just in that house, a simple humble house, whatever it may be, left. Why? Exclusive focus on the divine. In fact, that is the main purpose of life. This grahastha life, etc., is a preparation for steady contemplation. We think this is the main life. And now and then we will practice spirituality. Now and then some meditation, some puja, some japa. One lamp I light every day. Very good. That is not the, what you call, something that we are doing as a great service or great, favor to Bhagwan. This grahastha life is a preparation for vanaprastha and sannyas. That is a complete life. Otherwise, once a grahasthi, always a grahasthi. Are? How? And many lives go like that. So Bhagwan here, he says that this King Nabhi, he entrusted this kingdom and he went worshipping Lord Vasudeva, as known by the name of Nara and Narayana, through austerities, which though severe cause no annoyance to others, as well as through the practice of profound meditation with his spouse Merudevi. They both have renounced, they went. Where they went? Badri Vishal. Badrinath is a famous spot. Most of them devotees, they go to Badrinath only. Especially Bhagwan Vishnu's devotees, because there Bhagwan is there. In the form of Badri Vishal, Bhagwan, he is there. In the form of Nar and Narayan also, they are doing tapasya there, even now. So devotees of Bhagwan Vishnu, they want to go there only. That is supposed to be like the Vaikuntha of on the earth, because Bhagwan is there. So you saw Dhruvaji also, he goes there. Uddhavji also is told by Bhagwan to go there. All these kings. This Nabhi Raja also, he goes there. So many kings, they will go there to Badri Vishal, sit there, contemplate. Done. So there he goes with his wife Merudevi, and he attained oneness with Bhagwan at the appropriate time, meaning he realized the truth. Now there are two couplets that people sing in the Earlier you saw, no, for Priyavrat also they sang. How Priyavrat went around the earth and created these 7 divisions. Like that they say here that about Nabhi Raja they sing. So what do they say here? That what other man can imitate the celebrated doings of the royal sage Nabhi, attracted by whose pious deeds Sri Hari became a son to him? That what kind of devotion he had that Bhagwan himself became a son for him. And where could be had a devotee of the Brahmanas other than Nabhi, propitiated by whose sacrificial feast the Brahmanas, by the dint of sacred hymns, made the Lord of sacrifices manifest himself. Because of him, he employed these Brahmanas propitiated Bhagwan, and Bhagwan manifested also. Those are the 2 things which they remember about him as most glorious. Now, they are born, I mean, they both have gone, they have realized the truth. Now what happens? See, in this now, if you see this para number 10, not para number 10, it is the line, the line 9 and line 10. Very interesting there. So, now Rshabhdev knew that this to be the land of action. So, Athaha Bhagavan Rshabhdevaha Swavarsham Karma Kshetram Anumanya Manaha. This is the land of action, meaning you have to be dynamic here. You are on earth, Karma Bhumi it is. And as human beings, we have come here to exhaust our karmas. So laziness, lethargy, etc. is contrary. That's why it is tamasic and it is not going to help us to fulfill our purpose. We came here to exhaust karmas. So only 2 options, either do duties dynamically, dedicating it to Bhagwan and live a very dynamic life, remembering the Lord, or having done that, purify the mind through this karma yoga attitude, then renounce all karma and sit and do nididhyasana. Realize the truth. First part is Pravritti Marg, 50 years. Grahasthashram, Brahmacharya Ashram, Grahasthashram. Second half is Nivritti Marg, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So, right now he is made the king. See, Rshabhdev ji will show both. In his life, he will show Pravritti also, Nivritti also. So, here, as of now, he is in the form of a king. So, understanding this to be a land of action, what did he do? See, the interesting thing is he is now going to Gurukul. Nabhi Raja crowned him the king even before he went to Gurukul. What does that mean? That means that Nabhi Raja understood and he realized that Bhagwan is himself here, and he is no doubt, he enjoyed playing with him as a child. That was what was said earlier. But he said, now my time has come to think about Bhagwan. So he crowned him as the king and he went. He didn't wait that, okay, now let him get married and I will settle him down and then I will go. Many parents who think like that, oh, it is my duty. Okay, it is a duty, but there are many other factors to it. Now the child doesn't want to get married, what will you do? Or the child doesn't want to get married at the age you want to get the child to get married. Then what one will we do? What will one do? Nothing one can do. The child has come with the prarabdha. One has to do what one can do. Beyond that, one can't do anything. And for that, one can't postpone Brahmachintan. That only after this I will go. He put Bhagwan on the throne, said Bhagwan himself is here. Now what do I have to wait for? Made him the king, he left to think about Bhagwan. He went to Badrinath, renounced his world, renounced the world, went there to study, to contemplate, realized. Now this Rshabhdev ji, he understands that, okay, this world this is the creation and this is the karma bhumi and this I am the king. So he goes to Gurukul. He does not need to go. He is Bhagwan's avatar himself, Amsha. But to set example for everybody else. So he goes to Gurukul now. that how one should live at the residence of one's preceptor. Pradarshita Gurukula Vasaha Labdha Varaihi Gurubhir Anugnato Grahamedhinam Dharmananu Shikshamanaha. So he stays in the Gurukul, he studies under the guidance of the teacher, and by the permission of the teacher, he gets married. And the teachers also, who have taught him about dharma, etc., at the right time, they are given dakshina, etc., everything. And he learned the grihastha duties, and he also performed the religious rites ordained by the scriptures. And through his wife Jayanti was bestowed on him by Indra. You see, Indra in the beginning, he didn't reign. No? He got jealous. Then he got humbled, saying, Arey, what have I done? This is Bhagwan himself who has come there. And I, in my vanity, said, I'm not going to reign. Bhagwan, with his Yogamaya, he finished the reign. Indra got humbled. And so, in time, Indra gives this Jayanti. He sends Jayanti, and the Jayanti is married to Rshabhdev. And through that Rshabhdev ji, 100 sons are born in this parampara of this Priyavrat Raja. So Swayambhu Manu and Priyavrat, and then all these, Agnidra and Nabhi and all this. So you find here, there are 100 children born. Now this portion is important. The 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In that, especially number 9, underline that. So he says here, Jayantyam Indradattayam Ubhaya Lakshanam Karma Samamnaya Amnatam Abhiyunjan Atmajanam Atmasamananam Shatam Janaya Masa. 100 children are born to him who are equal to him, who are like him. Amongst that, so now comes this 9th one. Of those 100, Yesham Khalu Mahayogi Bharato Jyeshtaha. Mahayogi Bharata is the eldest, is the greatest. Shrestha Guna Asid. He was endowed with the highest of virtues. Asid. Yena idam varcham bharatamiti vyapadishanti. By whose name this country is called Bharat. Underline that line. This country is called Bharat much before this Greeks gave us the name India, because they couldn't pronounce Hindu. It became Indu. So Sindhu became Indu. And this Indu becomes India. That is Apabhramsha. The name of this country is Bharat. Before that it was this, what we just saw, Ajanabha Varsha. So now Bharat is the eldest one and the greatest one. Tamanu Kushavarta, Ilavarta, Brahmavarta, Malayaha, Ketur, Bhadrasena, Indrasprad, Vidarbha, Kikata, iti Navati Pradhanaha. So it is said here that next to him came the 9 brothers. These are all the names of the 9 brothers. Kushavarta, Ilavarta, Brahmavarta, Malaya, Ketu, Bhadrasen, Indrasprak, Vidarbha and Kikata. Then there are other 90. So Bharata is the supreme, is the eldest, and then the other 9, and then the other rest 90. So Kavi, Hari, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Drumila, Chamasa and Karabhajana. These 9 were eminent devotees of the Lord who taught to the world the conduct prescribed for the devotees of the Lord. So they are great bhaktas. Then he says that we shall narrate hereafter in the form of a dialogue between Vasudeva and sage Narada their sacred story of these 9 devotees. The 81 remaining sons of Jayanti, who are still younger, were obedient to their father, very modest, highly well versed in the Vedas, and habitually engaging in performing sacrifices. Purified by their conduct, they passed for Brahmanas. You see that? Brahmanaha babhuvuhu. Now they are born to king, Kshatriya Vamsha, but they become Brahmana. You see, this is what we have to understand. This is a Varna Vyavastha. This caste system, people have created all kinds of perversions because they had vested interests to destroy our culture. This is Varna Vyavastha, which is there is up and down going possible. Brahmana can become Kshatriya, Kshatriya can become Brahmana, Brahmana can become Vaishya, Shudra can become, no problem. As per the gunas. You see, this is one example here. 90 of them from Kshatriyas, they become Brahmanas. Why? Because they have all those qualities. And these other 9 of them, they have become devotees, and other 9 of them have become this, they are ruling different parts. So you will find here that these are 100 children now of 81 plus 9 plus 9 plus Bharatji, totally 100. So these are 100 children of Rshabhdev, and here it is said that the Lord, who was rightly called as Rshabha, was God himself, independent, eternally free from all evils by his very nature, and ever enjoying absolute bliss. Yet he is performing actions like an ordinary mortal. So he taught to the ignorant by his very example the duties that had been forgotten through passage of time. So how to be dynamic, what are the duties of a grahasthi, how to rule the kingdom, how to follow dharma, all that he taught by his very example. And in and through all this, he remains equipoised, calm, controlled, friendly, full of compassion. He ordained the people in household life by acquiring religious merit, worldly possessions, fame, begetting children, enjoying the pleasures of the sense, and attaining final beatitude. Why did he do all this? Because the rule is, as the great people do, others will follow. So you see this 15th one here. Yad chirnan yad shishnya charati tad anuvartate lokaha. Not charati, charitam, sorry. Yad shishnya charitam. Shishnya meaning the Sreshta Purusha, the great ones. How they live, how they behave, others will just follow that. So he showed by his example. Now, he knew the truth of the Vedas. He is the Lord himself from whom all the Vedas have come. Then, yet what happened? He ruled over the people according to the Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda, following the line that is chalked out by the Brahmanas. Meaning, Brahmanas, how they have given instructions that a king should do this, a householder should do X, Y, Z. All that he follows. Though he is the very source of all the Vedas, just to set the right example in the society. And he also followed rituals, he also did his duties. So there was a nice balance that he struck. And that is what he is setting example for people. Where are the people doing all that today? The kings, the leaders, they are out to destroy Sanatana Dharma. This is the duty of the king. That the king follows Dharma by oneself, then the Praja will follow. And does all the duties as given in the Shastra, the duties of a king, the duties of a grahasthi, the duties of a, whatever, the father and the various roles, the spouse and all the roles that he is playing. Now, having seen this, so having done this, He worshipped the Lord according to the precept through all kinds of sacrifices performed 100 times each, and provided with all requisites in the shape of appropriate materials, place, time, age, faith, and guidance of the priests, and intended to propitiate different devatas, gods. So he does all rituals appropriately, without any compromise, as they should be done. So now this land which was ruled over by Rshabhdev, you see the glory of his rule. This chapter ends with that. Nobody ever sought for one's own use on any account anything whatsoever from another. Meaning they are not selfish people. Any more than one would have a thing non-existent, except an incessantly growing and profound love for their ruler. They don't want anything from anybody. They are selfless people. They have a lot of love for their ruler. Nor did anyone cast a wistful look on another's property. They didn't want to have greed to grab somebody's property. This king Rshabhdev happened to be in Brahmavarta, and there in a gathering of foremost Brahmanas, he addressed his own sons. Though they were very great, and we already saw about the 100 sons, how they were. They were self-controlled, thoroughly disciplined by the virtue of their modesty. They have excessive devotion to their father. But to teach them, he gives a nice discourse to them, to the Brahmanas who are seated there, and the Raja, everybody. So this we will take up in our next class. The Upadesha that Rshabhdev Raja gives. This is a very beautiful portion now that comes, the Upadesh that he gives. And then he will renounce. So we will see that in our next session.
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की, मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की, मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की, मंगल आरती। मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की, मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की, मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की, मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी, मंगल आरती। पभी अंग अंग की, मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की, मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की, मंगल चितवनी नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया भावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की मंगल आरती मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतो यमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।